Shalom. I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Ha, Rocha Kodash, Ma'amah. Double honors to the elder apostles of GMS and their elders. Double honors to my elder, Herawan Ban Yasharala of the Lions Den Camp, here in Jacksonville, Florida. Shalom to the sincere Akim, pushing his truth and sincerity around the four corners of this earth. I'm Nakar Harab Ban Yasharala, coming out of the Lions Den Camp of Yasharala here in Jacksonville, Florida. And now today I'll be coming out a lesson, and it's on this article right here. This was an article that came out today at about 11:28. So I saw this article when I was at the job earlier on lunch break. And it says Venezuela deploys warships as U.S. destroyers approach. Now it says Venezuela has announced a significant military mobilization in response to an escalating U.S. naval presence near its shores as tensions deepened amid accusation of narco trafficking. That's talking about drugs. It says Defense Minister Vladimir Padrino Lopez announced the deployment of warships, drones, and larger vessels in territorial waters as the government Caracas also submitted a formal letter to the United States to denounce what it described as increased U.S. threats. And that's what that is. That's exactly what that is. Increased threats to try and bully, as this destroying mountain has always done around the four corners of the earth. It's still the same old trick, the same old tactic. Well, Venezuela is backed by Russia now. Venezuela is now an ally of Russia and is now an enemy of Babylon America. But let's continue. I'm gonna read this precept real quick. Even though Venezuela, they Jakes, you know what I'm saying, they are the Northern Kingdom, but this precept came to mind. Salakia. This is Joel chapter 3, verse 9. It says, "Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, and let all the men of war draw near, let them come up." So this is something that has been, of course, being proclaimed among the Gentiles, among these heathen nations, but also among Jake that's in these other countries, that's in like South America or Latin America, whichever terminology that you want to use. Because right now, a lot of our people are still in a Gentile state of mind. They're not physical Gentiles, but spiritually they're Gentiles. A lot of them don't know that they're Israelites, But it says, "Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles." But this is talking about all the nations on the earth, that have the power and the ability to make war with other nations on the earth. Salakia. It says prepare war, meaning get ready for war. And that's what Venezuela is doing. They're getting ready for war. And it says wake up the mighty men, get the soldiers, the Marines, the lieutenants, the colonels, everybody, the whole army. And it says, and let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. So this is what's happening. Verse 10. Salakia. This is what's happening. These nations are getting ready to combat this wicked, sinful kingdom with what? 200,000 glittering spears, or glistering swords, I should say, that is going to be bathed in heaven and come down upon Idumea, aka Babylon America. But verse 10. It says, beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say I am strong. Once upon a time, Venezuela was considered a weak nation with their whole economy collapse and everything, but they've bounced back in a big way. They've bounced back, and now Venezuela is doing business with Russia. But it says beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into hammers, meaning prepare, get ready. Because once upon a time, yet again, Venezuela was looked at as weak, couldn't fend for itself. But now Venezuela is saying they are strong. They're ready to combat America in the waters around Venezuela. And he said, well, I read through the article, but I'll get to that point, but I'm going to just roughly paraphrase it. I think that's Maduro, if I'm not mistaken. Salakia. I keep clearing my throat, you know. He said that if America does anything, he says all of Latin America is going to stand up to fight and to defend. That is the weak saying that they are strong. So let's continue. It says this urgent military move. This urgent military move highlights a growing confrontation between Washington and Caracas that extends beyond drug policy into a broader geopolitical brinkmanship. It risks destabilizing the regional security and could provoke escalating responses across Latin America. It says the developments Salakia underscore how U.S. counter narcotics posturing intersects with sovereignty disputes, creating a flashpoint with potential ripple effects in the Caribbean and beyond. Real quick, let's get another precept. Let's get a nudding. Okay, now we got to go here. Here we go. Let's continue. Look. Psalm 55:21. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words are softer than oil, yet they are drawn swords. And you know, right now, this devil, King Babylon, that's what I'm going to call him, King Babylon, he is over there in the waters under the guise of anti-drug politics. You know, that's what he's under. But what this devil, but what is being noticed and what is being seen, that this devil is creating a problem that is not there. Because why? Because war is in this devil's heart. His words are like butter. They smooth. They sound like something, you know, sound like some forward progress can happen. But his words, you know, are drawn swords. His words are like soft like oil. Yeah, they sound like, you know, hey, you know, off-putting or sounding like he means something else, but it's really something else, and that's what's going on. That's exactly what's going on. Let's continue. This devil is got war on his mind because America is a war machine. That's how America got rich to begin with. Let's continue. It says here, Lopez announced a deployment of warships and a significant drone presence along Venezuela's coastline, along with larger vessels further north in territorial waters. It says at the same time, a video circulating on X across various accounts showed him cautioning the U.S. not to step foot on Venezuelan soil, warning that any violation would constitute an aggression against all of Latin America and the Caribbean. This is Psalms chapter 10, verse 5. How does devil work? His ways are always grievous. Thy judgments are far above out of his sight. As for all his enemies, he puffeth at them. And that's what this devil is doing over there in the waters around Venezuela. He puffing at Venezuela like, what you gonna do? You ain't gonna do nothing. You know, that's what bullies do. They assume and think that ain't nothing finna happen. And then again, this devil's ways are always grievous. They're always detrimental. They're always destructive to whatever entity or sector, syndicate, country, or land. But see, when it comes down to the judgments of Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, those are far above out of this devil's sight. See, this devil don't know that the Lord throw phantom punches. And not only are they phantom punches, they haymaker phantom punches. So guess what? You don't see it coming. You just feel the effects, and next thing you know, you're going down. That's how the Lord works. But he gives you a warning first, though. He lets you know, if I put these hands on you, you ain't gonna see them coming, but you gonna feel them. Going on about your business, get in order. But this devil, he ain't seeing that. So now he gonna get broke like dishes. And with stupid stuff like this, posturing, thinking ain't nothing finna happen. That's that poker crap. The Lord has switched these other nations from playing poker and checkers to playing chess. As my elders say, chaturanga. I mean, a thinking man's game. And this devil, President Babylon, ain't thinking with the tomfoolery that he is on. Now let's continue. It says, separately, Venezuela's interior minister, Diosdado Cabello, ordered the dispatch of 15,000 troops to the Colombia border. It says the moves by Caracas come in reaction to the U.S. deployment of guided missile destroyers to the Southern Caribbean under the White House anti-cartel strategy. See this devil? Real quick. This is how this devil moves. This is what this devil do. This is Psalms 52 and 2. Thy tongue deviseth mischiefs like a sharp razor working deceitfully. So this devil's tongue deviseth mischiefs like a razor working deceitfully. You know, he's coming with like, oh yeah, we're gonna stop the cartel from bringing in drugs here and all that. That's devising mischiefs. This devil is using destructive words to give himself a reason to cause problems in the earth. But this devil can't help but cause problems in the earth, because that's what the Lord created Adawam for, to cause problems in the earth, not heal it, not fix it. Let's continue. It says Washington has offered a $50 million reward for information leading to President Nicolas Maduro's arrest. Salakia, it was an interruption, but let's continue. It says Caracas has dismissed the accusations as politically motivated, which is true. You don't think so? Let's go back to Psalms 52. Verse 3. Thou lovest evil more than good, and lying rather than to speak righteousness, Selah. So this devil loves to what? To do evil more than he does good. And what he's doing over there around Venezuela is evil. And this devil is lying. This devil would rather lie than to speak what's right, to speak what's true. Let's continue. It says Foreign Minister Ivan Gil delivered a letter to the UN official Gianluca Rampolla, accusing the U.S. of deploying offensive nuclear-capable submarines without transparency as an act of intimidation and violation of regional disarmament commitments. Go back to Psalms 10. I'm gonna go right back to it again. I'm gonna read it once more. Psalm chapter 10, verse 5. His ways are always grievous; thy judgments are far above out of his sight. As for all his enemies, he puffeth at them. And that's what's going on. He puffing at Venezuela. Venezuela is backed by Russia. Russia is the guard. But let's continue. It says the letter urged the UN to demand an end to the deployment, seek clear and verifiable guarantees against nuclear threats in Latin America and the Caribbean, and convene a regional conference. And And there you go, just right here. And Shalaka, that kind of threw me off, man. But it says tensions appear to escalate. It says Venezuela may conduct joint exercises to demonstrate military readiness, continuing and continue seeking UN support, while the U.S. could reinforce its naval posture. Diplomatic doors remain open, but only if both parties agree to de-escalate. But see, what the thing though, Venezuela is not escalating. Venezuela is letting it be known that we're on the defense, and if we are provoked, we may attack. But this is what this devil is doing. This devil is going around the four corners of the earth causing problems as he does. Habakkuk. He is his death in hell wherever he goes. He causes problems everywhere. So yeah. And with that, shalom.